Welcome to Smoke Signals, everyone. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with Athletic Director and Head Football Coach Jason Holman. Fighting Indians at home at Tomato Bowl. Kilgore rolling in, Coach. We'll talk about the number 4, number 5 state-ranked Bulldogs here in just a moment. Let's review the Athens game. Coach, another game where you got off to a good start. You go down and score, and then you just had that pocket there. And, it's the second halves have been so much better than the first halves. I don't know what you're saying at the half, but maybe you ought to say that before the game because the second halves, the teams perform much better.
Yeah. We go down and score. We burn a good bit of clock in the first quarter doing it. I think it was like almost a 15-play drive, something of that nature. And then we've got 5 minutes remaining in the first half or first quarter. And already down 2 injuries to starters. Just an unfortunate string of events. And, obviously we've got other kids that we put in the game, but that's got to change. We've got to avoid that somehow. And, not that the injuries were avoided. We had a concussion and an Achilles strain, and, it's just something that happens, but that deflated us to a degree. And, of course, it disrupts some of what we had planned. But other than that, you're right. We've played better in the second half. We've got to find a way to come out firing on all cylinders first half.
It's been such an unusual year for injuries. I was trying to remember the last time that it was like this, and gosh, I can't. And so, and again, no excuses. Other guys got to step up. But it just seems like there's those pockets of the ball game, Coach, where your defense might make a stand, and the next one there's a breakdown, or offensively. Still, you're minus 9 on turnovers. Yeah. The defense only has 1 turnover in 5 games. How do you change that to maybe start shifting that towards your favor? Because a minus 9 at halfway through, that's a rough number.
Yeah, no question. And that's not a formula for winning, obviously. From a defensive standpoint, we're running far too many snaps. Not giving ourselves an advantage by getting off the field by creating some turnovers, and you've just got to be aware. A lot of turnovers are created by effort and being in position to take advantage of opportunities when they come. Believing that you can get to the ball. You may be the backside corner on a play away from you, but you never know when a ball's going to be tipped in the air or fumbled or anything put on the ground. And if you're not hustling, you don't take advantage of that opportunity. So it starts by selling out to the calls and giving effort all over the board, at every position. And then when those opportunities come around, you can make good on them. So we've struggled from a little bit of that. Obviously you've got to be conscious of how to create turnovers too. There's a time and a place to go for the football. There's a time and a place to not go for the football. And we've got to figure that part out of it. We turned the ball over one time the other night. Athens played a clean ball game and didn't turn it over at all. And when you can't stop them and you can't get the ball away from them, it translates to a long night defensively.
Coach, looking at the statistics on the screen right there, threw the ball well. The total yardage was there, and a lot of that, of course, was in the second half. But turnovers weren't really a factor in this ball game. It was big play after big play for Athens. Really, is what it was.
Yeah, and and you made reference to the passing game. We had some good yardage right off that first drive, and Brendan Richards was one of those that got injured that had started the game for us.
Lost him in the game.
Two key catches in that first drive, and then he's out, and that's an injury on both sides of the football for us. So, somehow, some way, we got to find a way to overcome them.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Jacksonville versus Athens. Opening drive here. Brady does the bossa nova move and makes the throw.
Good job moving in the pocket, finding the open man in the end zone there.
Another great play here by Jordan Dorsey.
Yeah, it's just good job of, getting through the football and then finishing the play and getting him down.
Dede got his first start, pops this one for 13.
Yeah, Dede's a tough kid, and he runs hard, and, we decided to start with him that week.
Here's Zeke going for 64. Nice throw by Brady.
Again, a good job of moving in the pocket, just being patient and keeping his eyes downfield, and hits Zeke on a big 64-yard touchdown.
Here's Jordan Dorsey again, getting the running back for a big loss.
Yeah, does a good job not getting overtaken by the block, and then, has an opportunity to get the field and make a great play.
Here's your freshman move up, Rodarius Searles, for 25 here.
Yeah, it's a good run by Rodarius. He's learning. We've got him in the fold this week, and he's only going to get better and better as he grows and learns what to do.
Here's Dede punching it in from 3.
Good hard run by Dede. Good job of keeping his legs moving, getting in from 3 yards out.
Great ball placement here by Brady on the 20-yard touchdown to Jermaine.
Yeah, this is good football. Put where, we were either going to catch it or not catch it, but away from the defender, and it's a good catch and finished by Jermaine.
So, Coach, it's Kilgore this week. Obviously, a great football team. They come in just rolling. I think Pine Tree did not score on them. Athens, I think, got 9. Palestine got 7. This is a really strong Kilgore defense, but they can also move the football.
Yeah, they're very talented. Typical of our district. Like I've said, arguably the toughest district in 4A Division I. We know what we're facing. Our goal going into the football game is there are certain aspects, obviously, that we've got to improve, and that's the goal. It's improvement. It's get better at what we do, at execution, at tackling, at understanding scheme, playing within the scheme of both our offense and our defense. And to me, that's where it starts. You've got to focus on your improvement week in and week out, and we've got to find a way to get things back on track. And if we can do that, then anything can happen at that point. And we're going to find ourselves in a much more competitive situation than we have in the last 4 weeks for sure.
Coach, let's talk about your players and where they are emotionally and mentally right now. I mean, you're 0-5, and the season is still ahead of you. You got 5 games left. You control your own destiny. What's been the mood? How's practice been, and how have the players started to kind of react to where they are and where they need to be?
Well, this week Monday was tough. Monday was a hard start for us. We finally got it rolling in practice. Came back Tuesday, had a better practice, had a decent energy yesterday. I think we had one of our better Wednesday practices yesterday. So, started the week a little rough, Control what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message to the kids. We can't control what's in the past. Can't control what's in the future. Got to control the present. And like I said, we got to focus, and our concentration has to be on the play that's coming, because they're very good. And if you're up front on the offensive line and you don't take a correct step, you're going to get exploited because they're that talented. That's where that focus and that concentration has to be every single play. And if you don't get it done on one, then you got to go focus for the next play. And it's the same thing defensively. It's just got to be an all-out better effort, a concentration, focus of what we're doing, and understanding where you fit and how to execute.
I think that what you just said, those are always like the keys to the game, focus and making sure you do your job and being in position. And what are some of the other things that your team needs to do offensively and defensively to get a win against Kilgore?
Well, and that's why I stress that, because that's what we've lacked. There's been that, like you mentioned earlier, there's been that lapse. And when we have those lapses, it's tended to drag on for a quarter or more. And then at that point, we've dug our hole so deep that we can't get out of it. Obviously, there's things you mentioned like the turnover battle that we've got to correct and we've got to improve upon. We got to find a way to create takeaways and get the ball out of the offense, out of the opponent's hand and get it back to our offense. All those play in, but to me, it all boils down to execution and effort and concentration on what you're doing right then and there.
Jacksonville versus Kilgore. This long rivalry continues. We'll be at Tomato Bowl. Kickoff at 7:30. We'll be live streaming on JISDlive.com starting at 6:30. For head coach Jason Holman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you right here next time on Smoke Signals.